Leak Neeko, where is she?
Hey guys, I'm Doglightning, rank 1 Neeko, and I'm going to be going over my thoughts and opinions on what we know about the Neeko rework so far, so let's just first watch the rest of this part just to see what the changes are.
Well, I can give, so there's a lot of things going on in Neeko, but I can give the one sneak peek, which is her passive, instead of just turning to other champions, is now other things, anything. She can turn into a plant, she can turn into a demon mushroom, she can turn into a minion, a monster, and a champion.
Can she turn into a better teammate?
No, she'll actually probably be a worse teammate.
So that is all we know so far about the update. First I'll say that I think there will be changes to her basic kit, but basically her passive is being changed so she can turn into any targetable unit on the Rift. The only things that I don't know is if it might not be Baron, Dragon, and Towers are what I'm unsure about, and like inhibs, but everything else I'm pretty sure you can turn into like a Jin Trap, right? As they showed Teemo Shroom, minions, jungle camps, whatever, you can turn into basically anything now, and it's just adding some mind games to Neeko. As you see in the video, she has to do like a little channel to do it, so it's like
Other things, anything.
as she's doing it, as you can see, there's the channel that goes around, so she won't be able to just instantly turn into any jungle camp. She'll have to take a few seconds to mark it and then turn into it. We also saw on another video that was on the Twitter that she can turn into wards. So yeah, I'm gonna go switch over to the Rift and just talk about some mind games and what we'll be able to do with these changes. Okay, so to start off, first thoughts about these changes are they're very fun, very good. I think that they are more suited towards low elo than high elo because of the fact that in high elo, less people are gonna fall for tricks. For instance, a trick I'm really excited about that I do think will work sometimes, but not all the time, turning into lane minions. So I'm a support main, I'm farming bot, I'm doing whatever, playing with my ADC, I recall, and then I can literally turn into a lane minion and walk into lane with the minions, right? So let's just get the minions going. So say I was like here, I could turn into like a melee minion and I could just be walking into lane right now pretending to be a melee minion. A top laner is not going to usually expect a support Neeko to all of a sudden becoming top as a melee minion, right? So if I was walking in here, bop, 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 I pop my ulti, and then all of a sudden flash on their top laner and right, we go for a big gank. Any good top laner would know because they'd see that there's 4 melees instead, but I think a lot of people will be unexpected of randomly a Neeko appearing in their lane as a minion. Also, like at the end of games when like, say you have like 2 inhibs down and there's like a crap load of minions coming into the base, if you just randomly turn into a caster or something, I think a lot of people aren't going to expect that to be Neeko. Another idea I have with this would be, I'm just starting off with the minions. Another one would be when you're split pushing. So if you turn into like a caster minion late game, right, and you have the ranged caster minion auto attack, people aren't going to be paying attention, and then all of a sudden you could be like, say you have Nashor's Tooth, right? Your AP Neeko with Nashor's Tooth. You could be a split pushing caster minion just shredding towers on the side lane, and enemies looking at their minimap and they're like, oh, it's just a minion wave. There's no like one right now pressuring, we don't need to go, but really your caster minion is actually Neeko with Nashor's Tooth just going and shredding towers. So I think there are cool things that can happen, but again, I think these are more low elo suited changes because I think better players in higher elo will know, which is bad for me because Neeko might get nerfed in higher elo if she becomes OP in low elo, but I do think overall, even in high elo, if you get good at it, you can make some good plays happen. Another cool play I was thinking about would be something like, you could turn into like, right, you mark the Gromp, kill the Gromp, right? So let's just, you know, burn down this Gromp, do super fast. I should have bought some items. So say I kill this Gromp, right? And say like, this would work really well if you were jungle Neeko or if you're playing the jungler. So say you invade the jungle with your jungler, right? And your jungler kills Gromp, right? And then your jungle goes and hides in this bush right here. And then you turn into Gromp here and you just, their jungler comes in, their jungler goes to open on Gromp, and all of a sudden you're ulting and your jungler comes over the wall, right? Cool tricks like that, right? Like even if you wanted to like go over to the Wraith camp, even as a support, I could come over here and just quickly kill just one little Wraith monster, right? Reset the camp, right? Reset the camp, right? And now I could turn into one of these little mini Wraiths, or I guess they're called Raptors now, and I could just turn into a mini Raptor and stand here, pretend to be a Raptor with the camp, right? And then their jungler comes in, and again, as their jungler comes into the camp, all of a sudden I ulti and I just go for a one-shot on him, or even just like pretending their support is roaming through and like catch their support. So I think there are some cool changes that could be done. You can turn into things like traps and wards. For the most part, this is going to be kind of irrelevant because people know if they can see it or not. That being said, if you pretend to be a ward in a bush as they're walking by with a sweeper, now even the sweeper would reveal that the ward's HP and it wouldn't reveal you, so they would still know. To note though, someone in my stream came up with a good idea. Where it would work is if you pretend to be a ward or a Teemo stream or something and someone knocks one of these vision cones over that would reveal the invisible. So then they would actually think it was not like, they would actually think it was real because it'd be showing. But I think control wards would be really good, right? So for instance, you could place your real control ward in this bush. So say you're doing dragon, you place your real control ward in this bush, and then you pretend to be a control ward standing here. And as the enemy team's coming in, they're not going to expect this control ward to be Neeko, right? They're going to think, because like it's pretty normal to place control ward here, so that you can like all of a sudden line up like a flash ulti, right? Can't believe that actually hit. So there's some cool ideas. There's some cool ideas that can happen. I'm very excited for these changes. Any other ideas I can think of right now? These are just like the basic ideas, but there are so many ideas I probably haven't even thought of, right? Like turning into Scuttle Crab and walking back and forth, pretending to be Scuttle, right? So if the Scuttle's still alive and it's walking this way and their jungler's coming from here, once the Scuttle's out of vision, I could pretend to be Scuttle and be walking this way, and their jungler's not going to expect it. Lots of cool things that you can do with it. Lots of people are saying, like, I'm mad that you won't be able to turn into allies anymore. You can still turn into allies, guys. That's not going away. So you'll still be able to do that kind of stuff. So yeah, so for a start of a mid-scope, I'm happy. So what are the things I'm hoping to see, though? So for one, from this mid-scope, I'm hoping turning into allies with your passive will give you something more beneficial. I feel like turning into an ally that just gets destroyed in one hit is really weak and doesn't really do much. So I hope that it gets a bit buffed. Like if I turn into a tanky player on my team, the passive takes a bit longer to break. So it's like it's harder for them to know like, oh, it's Neeko because they hit one like little Zyra plant auto and it reveals you. Like if I'm a tank, pretending to be a tank and a Zyra plant autos me, it should take maybe like 5 or 6 plant autos to break the passive or something, right? If I turn into like an ADC, my auto attack damage should go up or something, like with what items they have, so I can maybe split push. That's like kind of what I'm looking for more addition. On top of that, also the passive, its cooldown's going down if you break it yourself. It was shown in a video that if you have the passive up and you break it yourself, it's going to go on a 5-second cooldown instead of like this long ass 25-second cooldown. So that's pretty cool too. So other stuff looking for Neeko'S rework. So other than the passive with her regular kit, the reason why Neeko is really bad in high elo and good in low elo is because in high elo, people respect Neeko. So the champions outrange her, make it so she can't play the game. In low elo, people don't really zone Neeko out so she can play the game. You can't really change that because Neeko's a low range champion, but what I want is if Neeko gets in range, she should be somehow easier to land her abilities and like stuff. Like, for instance, yesterday I played against a Neeko and she hit a root ulti against me and I wasn't even scared, right? Like, root ulti, it ends and you can flash out, right? Like, the fact that even if you hit a root into ulti, the person can flash out before the ulti goes out, right? It's like, you're getting out. Say this is like a freaking Syndra. Syndra misses her stun, so you finally get a chance, you run in with W, you throw your thing, and then she just flashes out and her whole team kills you, right? It's like the fact that, like, you could miss root. Like, root is very dodgeable. Even if you hit root, they can still flash out of the ulti. Ulti is dodgeable. It's like the fact that Neeko's low range with very missable spells and squishy is what makes Neeko such a problem in high elo. Because when people respect Neeko, it's hard to do much, which is why she's become kind of a low elo champion. Because in low elo, it's like if you hit the root ulti, they're not even like half the time going to flash at the ult in time, or like they're not going to zone you, and you're just like not going to miss as many roots. So I feel like, I hope with the rest of the changes that Riot does to like her basic kit, because all we've seen is the passive, is what I'm hoping for is something that solves this issue of her being like this low range squishy champion with dodgeable skill shots. Like all these 3 things combined, right? Low range, dodgeable skill shots, and squishy. Those 3 things together is why Neeko is such a terrible champion in high elo. And I say terrible because she really is. I proved my point yet. Like, I've been having such a terrible time this start of the season. Honestly, I have over 60 games. I have a 35% win rate. And I'll be real, I tilted. I got angry. I didn't play my best for some of them. But for a lot of them, it's just like, I can't do anything. It's like the enemy team has a Syndra. I can't play the game. I proved my point yesterday. The enemy team picked Neeko mid. I picked Syndra support. And every single team fight, I did nothing but just stun Neeko, ulti Neeko, and kill Neeko every team fight. The Neeko was smurfing it. She was solo killing her lane. Even when I would gank her in lane, she would like ignore me and kill my laner. And like she was roaming and getting killed. She was doing so much early game. And then as soon as it got to team fighting, it was like, nope, you can't play the game because I'm just countering you. And that's kind of how I feel about Neeko when I play her. It's right. It's like I win my lane, I roam and get my mid laner ahead, or roam top and get top ahead. And then it gets to team fights and it just feels like I'm just so useless compared to every champ in the game because my skill shots can just get missed and the enemy can just one-shot me and zone me. So these are some of the things I hope Riot somehow fixes with Neeko's kit. I don't know how they can fix it. Like, maybe they can make the root duration on the non-empowered longer, right? So it's like right now it's at 1.5 seconds. Maybe if it was like 2 seconds unempowered, so that like a root ulti like actually lasts long enough. So a root ulti actually lasts long enough. Like if it was just a little bit longer there, they wouldn't be able to flash out, right? Maybe if they did that would help. Maybe if like Neeko'S W pat, like another issue what I was saying on stream is most mages don't have mobility, right? So most mages outrange Neeko and could hit this target from here. Like if you're a Lux, you could hit this target with both your root and your E from here. Neeko can't. And it's like, oh, well, Neeko doesn't have that because she has mobility. She has a spell that helps her get in range where most mages don't. Well, the problem is if you have to, the whole point is, oh, Neeko's low range, right? But she can use her W to dodge skill shots and remaneuver and stay alive. The problem is when you're forced to use your W to get into range of the enemy, you no longer have that ability. And it's supposed to make Neeko safe in low range. Neeko's supposed to be in safe in low range because she has her W to go invisible, dodge, juke. But the problem is the way Neeko works is you have to use your W to get in range of the enemy, at which point now you're just a mage. You're the same as every other mage, right? An immobile mage with no escape except your low range. The W being used as an escape tool kind of sucks because you have to use it to go in. So you don't actually have that escape tool. So you just end up being a low range squishy mage that's half the range of other mages. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe with what you think about this mid-scope. Again, I ended it very negative because I'm a high elo sweaty player. For low elo, I think Neeko is amazing. Like, low diamond and below, I think she's an amazing champion. It's just when you get to my sweaty elo that these problems really arise really hard. I think the new passive is super fun. I think for low elo, it's going to be amazing. My biggest fear is that they're not going to fix Neeko's problems in high elo. This passive will make Neeko broken in low elo, where she'll get nerfed, and then that'll just hurt me in high elo. So that's my biggest fear about these changes that's coming through. But other than that, super excited to see the rest. Thank you, Riot Flocks, for freaking giving us this crazy rework. Super impressed. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Check out my stream if you want to talk to me live. As I said, some of these ideas I came up with were what people were talking about on stream. So peace out.